Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Shannon Beador storms out of Love Hotel dinner in tears after a confrontation about eating vegetables. What do you mean you don't eat vegetables? Who doesn't eat vegetables? It's very important to eat greens, Shannon asked, to which Earl replied, "Why do you always look surprised like you want to slap me?" Shannon storms Beador is heading for the door. On the May 11 episode of Bravo's Love Hotel, the Real Housewives of Orange County star, 61, ended a group dinner in tears after a conversation about eating vegetables with love interest Earl Thompson escalated into a bigger argument. As the two perused the menu for the night's four-course meal, Earl, 59, dropped a surprise bombshell about his healthy eating habits on Shannon. "I don't know why they gave me this," Earl said, referring to the paper menu. "I don't eat vegetables." "What do you mean you don't eat vegetables? Who doesn't eat vegetables? It's very important to eat greens," Shannon asked, to which Earl replied, "And pizza." When the reality star quietly expressed her shock, the vocational expert commented on the quizzical look on her face and asked, "Why do you always look surprised like you want to slap me?" The night progressed, and Shannon chose to turn her attention to the other suitors at her dinner table. She and Phil began talking about the joys of living in Southern California when Shannon noticed that Earl had gotten quiet on her left side. "You're very quiet, Earl. You need to participate," she quipped. Earl admitted that he was unfamiliar with the topic as someone who's never lived in California. When Shannon suggested he listen and include himself in the conversation, he answered, "Why are you being critical? It's like the third time you said something," he continued, admitting he didn't remember Shannon's previous offenses when she asked him to elaborate on how she was being critical. "I just felt extremely sensitive for some reason," he added. "You're gonna put me in tears right now," Shannon said. "It is surprising that you don't eat vegetables, and I'm sorry, in California, everyone eats them. It's very important, so I'm sorry." The mom of two asked why Earl didn't say anything if his feelings were being hurt, to which he replied, "We're at a dinner party, sweetie." After their meal, Earl joined Shannon for a private conversation about what went down at the table. The Bravo celebrity explained that Earl's behavior at dinner was a trigger for me, as her previous partners wouldn't properly communicate their feelings and end up punishing her. "When you're growing in a relationship, there's going to be landmines that you don't know exist," Earl explained. "A few things that you said reminded me of my first wife, and that's a landmine that I didn't see." Shannon asked if his late wife would comment on the lack of vegetables in his diet, to which Earl admitted that she would often criticize me in some way, and then she'd say, "No, I didn't say that. It's forgivable for me, I mean it's stupid," he said. "Then let's go to the last thing to check off the box to say, make her feel stupid for being upset right now," Shannon continued. "I feel like I've been getting to know someone, and I feel like I don't even know who you are." Earl confessed he didn't know why she felt that way, which prompted Shannon to walk away from the conversation. It was supposed to be a romantic evening, candles, fine wine, soft jazz curling like steam through the velvet air of Tokyo's famously sultry Love Hotel Sakura, where each private suite is a world unto itself. Reality TV star Shannon Beador, ever the image of composed charisma, had arrived dressed in a flowing silk kimono, its crimson pattern like flames licking up the fabric. Her companion, whose name the tabloids had been tiptoeing around for weeks, was already waiting in the suite's private dining room, where a Prix Fixe omakase menu awaited them both. But no one expected what happened next. "Welcome to Love Hotel Sakura," the hostess had chirped as Shannon stepped into the floral-scented corridor. "This way, Miss Beador. Your private room has been prepared." At first, things went well. Photos show Shannon smiling as she sipped her yuzu spritzer. She even laughed, genuinely, by all accounts, when her date tried to use chopsticks to pick up a grape tomato from a minimalist salad course. Then the first course came. A bed of microgreens with grilled eggplant and shiso dressing. Harmless enough. But it was the second course. Steamed Romanesco topped with miso foam and garnished with pickled radish, that seemed to trigger something far deeper than a simple dislike of cruciferous vegetables. Witnesses say Shannon stiffened. Her chopsticks hovered. "What is this?" she asked, not loudly, but with a specific, cutting precision only years of Real Housewives conflict training can yield. Her companion chuckled, assuming this was a bit. "You know I don't do vegetables," Shannon said, "especially not ones that look like fractal sea monsters. But it's healthy," he said, attempting to skewer a piece of the Romanesco and offer it to her like a peace offering. "You said you wanted to take your wellness more seriously. This is vegetable forward." And that's when something in her snapped. Shannon pushed her chair back with a screech that rang like a gong through the otherwise silent room. "I am serious about wellness," she said, eyes glassy but fierce. "I take supplements. I do infrared sauna. I drink bone broth on Tuesdays. I don't need broccoli that looks like it was grown in outer space, shoved in my face at a love hotel." There was a pause, a sharp, crystalline silence. Then came the tears. Not sobbing, not wailing. These were the kind of tears born from years of carefully curated restraint, frustration with kale smoothies, and possibly unresolved childhood trauma involving Brussels sprouts. Silent, cinematic tears that glimmered on her lashes before she turned and stormed out, leaving her date alone with a very confused waiter and half a plate of untouched fermented bean salad. "I knew this dinner was a mistake," she muttered as she brushed past the hostess in the hallway. Her heels clacked with purpose. "I said I wanted love, not legumes." Security footage later showed her pacing outside the hotel for several minutes, furiously texting someone. Sources suggest it may have been Tamra Judge, before calling a rideshare and disappearing into the Tokyo night. The next morning, social media exploded. #Veggiegate began trending on X. Fans were divided. Some defended her vegetable aversion with religious fervor. "If Shannon says no to cauliflower foam, we say no too," tweeted at BravoQueen91. Others weren't so forgiving. "She can handle Vicky Gunvalson at a wine tasting, but not a piece of broccoli. Come on," wrote at RealityCheckCarl. Meanwhile, her date, still anonymous at the time, spoke exclusively to a local gossip blog, Tokyo Whispers. "She told me she was open to new experiences," he said, requesting anonymity. "I thought that included produce." Insiders later revealed that Shannon had agreed to the Love Hotel dinner as a symbolic gesture. The concept was meant to represent intimacy, vulnerability, and personal growth. The vegetables, unfortunately, were part of a culinary narrative curated by the chef, representing the blossoming of inner truth and the shedding of ego. "Well, the ego is still very much intact," whispered a producer on her current reality show, who was not authorized to speak publicly. Later that week, Shannon addressed the incident on Instagram Live. With a glass of champagne in one hand and her ever-loyal golden retriever Archie in the other, she set the record straight. "I'm not anti-vegetable," she insisted. "I'm anti-pressure. If I want to eat a beet, I'll eat a beet, but I don't need it forced on me in a place that charges by the hour." The comment section lit up. Tamra Judge chimed in with pure EAC, while Andy Cohen simply commented, "Plot twist, the real drama was the side dish." In the weeks that followed, Love Hotel Sakura quietly updated its menu to include a no-veg omakase option, now affectionately known by patrons as the Shannon.